Welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly video game podcast releasing every Thursday and Fridays. Join us as we review the Halo series, Paramount Plus's exclusive show chronicling what they tell us is the Halo version of TV. I don't know what's happening. We are reviewing episode 4. We are spoiling it all. If you're just joining us, welcome. We've been doing this the last month now. Can you believe it, gents?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And has provided some of my favorite commentary on Fridays. And I love talking with the gentleman I have with me, the EIC, Andrew Reiner, in the house as always. Hello, sir.
Hello. You know, Alex, it's torture to sit through some of these episodes, especially as Halo fans, but I do look forward to our chats. I feel like we're coming together as a team.
Right.
We're in the trenches together, weathering the storm, and here we are.
Here we are together.
It's kind of wonderful.
Yeah, I've been enjoying our talks, and it sounds like the community has as well. And we couldn't do it without the one and only Brian Shea. Hello, sir.
Hello. I feel like describing us as in the trenches is at least something related to the Halo show is in the trenches. At least some sort of like struggle is happening because it's just us walking from place to place and Master Chief not wearing a helmet so far.
Well, yeah, Alex and I have to take off our hats for 15 seconds and we'll
right.
put them back on. Yeah.
Yeah. The source of my power here. I have to apologize to the Halo community, to you gentlemen. I made the outrageous claim last week. I said I would take more helmet, like inside the helmet stuff, if it meant more action. And I feel like I'm the reason we got the in-helmet stuff this week. So I apologize. I'll draft a letter on social media. Anyways, this is our review of Homecoming, the 4th episode in the Halo series. Last week, we saw Chief have enough memories and become more human and remember where he buried the second part of the artifact. Quan and Soren were headed to Madrigal. Halsey is with Chief, and Ivan, or whatever the assistant's name, Igor, excuse me. And that's kind of where we sat. And then Kai last week, one of the Spartans, kind of noticed Chief had changed and wanted a slice of that herself. But we start this week with another flashback. We have Baby Chief and the rest of the crew,
Baby Chief.
like it was Baby Muppets running around training with the UNSC. It's a flashback to when they were kids. And you see Halsey's relationship start with Chief, right? She's kind of comforting him in a way a psychopathic doctor hell-bent on militaristic domination can. And it's just this moment of her being more of a mother, which they've been referring to all along. Still good. I still I feel like I'm a broken record, but I still think she's the best part of the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that continued this week.
Her and Jen Taylor as Cortana.
Right. Yes. And we got a little taste of. We keep getting little bits and tastes of their relationship. Pablo Schreiber's relationship with Jen Taylor's Cortana, which I found out this week. Pablo Schreiber is Liv Schreiber's brother. Didn't know that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Got an X-Men connection, right?
Yeah, there you go. And he was the voice of like Hard Knocks and stuff like that. And he has a Showtime show too, I think. That's supposed to be very good. Liv Schreiber's great. And Pablo Schreiber's
shoot, what's the Showtime show called? I forgot.
It's like a name.
It is a name, yes. I always see it like
Ray Donovan, right?
Ray Donovan, yeah. It was
Ray
advertised
Donovan,
after Dexter back when that show was airing. It's been going on for a long time.
Fun fact, Showtime only named shows after people's names, apparently. Dexter, Ray Donovan.
Californication.
Jesus and Mero, Anyways, so we're on the ship. We're headed to Iridius, I believe is Chief's home. Iridius. And he's still dealing with the lack of pellet in his butt. And people are starting to notice. Cortana and him have this little scene where she can tell he's anxious, and he's like, "Oh, that's what that feels like."
God, I wish I knew that. Like, I wish I could just be like, "Oh, that's what anxiety feels
Actually,
like."
Can I have that pellet? Y'all are throwing them out. Can you just stick that in my back? Yeah.
What a moment that was of him not emoting at all.
Right.
Just looking out a window.
Yeah.
And this is anxious.
And then Cortana, actually's him, was like, "Well, actually, you can't see the split stream." But they had one line together too, where it's like, you can tell that playfulness is going to be there. I just wish they would, glass everyone else and just have it focus on them at this point, but it is what it is. So we then shift to Soren and Quan. They're headed to Madrigal. They have this exchange about Quan not sleeping because of her memories. Soren's like, I don't have memories. I'm starting to get them back, right? It's the speech on it makes who you are. I don't know, just setting the table for her development, I think. I just can't care about their storyline. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I feel like we're overly jaded on this at this point, but like
No.
nothing about it is interesting to me, even though it provided a little bit of action this week, which we'll get to later. I don't know. Has either of your opinions changed on that storyline at all from this episode?
I feel like I'm getting dumber as I watch it.
Oh,
like,
no!
I really do. I like, you see like the seeding that they have, what they're going to be getting to, the whole reason they just need to keep pulling them along. But the purpose of them being pulled along is there's nothing there. Nothing at all. Like, you've already built up the villain there.
Mm-hmm.
He's already done bad things there.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. Now they're there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shay, what do you think?
Yeah, just echoing what Reiner said. Every time it seems like there's going to be something interesting happen, it doesn't happen.
Right.
Like when they found like the other pocket of the resistance, it's like, oh wait, they're all traitors. Never mind.
Right. I'm trying to like distill what my main issues are with this show, right? And it is we've talked about it a lot too, and I feel like there's a lot of filler in this episode, and I that's why I don't mess with anime and some regular TV shows. I know I'm gonna get but like I am not a filler fan. I love when it's shows like Breaking Bad, like the early stuff in Game of Thrones, right? Or Barry, right? Where it's like everything feels purposeful. There's a pulse. There is a cadence that is constantly moving things forward. And it felt like you could have done this episode in 5 minutes. And that's what I was hoping for, right? We got the buildup of like, all right, finally Chief's going home, right? We're going to get the second part of the artifact. Because the payoff here is Halo, right? It's the name of the damn show. Like, that's what we're all waiting for. But it felt like this just took forever. And like, I feel like we only moved an inch off of where we started from compared to even like episode 1 or 3, right? Where it's like, okay, we got some serious progress here. Like, let's get into this. So, but we'll keep going through. I think Kai, the Spartan, is another solid piece to this, to the show. And we finally get a little bit more. She takes the lead from Chief and takes the emotional stopping pellet out of her back as well in a really weird scene, very awkward. Like the other Spartan comes in. I can't remember her name. Kai, Chief. Anyways, and she's like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, nothing. And she's like, okay. And then Kai's like, leave me alone. And then she leaves. And then like the camera pans. A lot of butts in this show, by the way. A lot of butts.
Yeah, it's a butt checklist show.
Yeah, everyone needs
have you seen?
Yeah, it's everyone's butt at this point. And then she starts to feel the effects of having emotions and feelings and stuff. And I think she's actually the actress behind her is a pretty good Kate Kennedy. So, but I've enjoyed her. Except for
I'm trying to put my finger on what I know her from.
I don't know her
except
from
that dumb line of "You're like my sister." I was like,
the writing hasn't gotten any better in this episode.
Right. You guys are my brothers.
Thank you.
We're sitting together, apparently.
Yeah. We go back to John and Halsey at this point. In the best part of this is Reiner going viral from this tweet
on Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah. Congratulations. See,
thank you.
This is good. The Halo show is a good thing, man. I'm telling you. We get they get to the planet. Chief puts his helmet on for the first time in 35 years, only to take it off 15 seconds later. And it's just, I know people are probably rolling their eyes at that critique because it's every week we say it, but it's like, it almost feels like the writing at this point is like, almost an FU to nerds like us who want to see him wear it. Like there's another line in the show too where they're like, you got to take your helmet off because we don't want to fry the electricity. It's like, no, it's just because you're taking it off because CAA, the agency, wants you to show the actors' faces. Like this is getting ridiculous. But anyways,
I like that even later Cortana was like, yeah, put on your helmet like you need to.
Right. Yeah. So we're on his homeworld, right? We're finally seeing where the visions have taken him. They start digging. I think I'm skipping a little bit ahead here, but they finally unearth what they hope is the artifact, but in turn, it is actually his drawings that his dad made him bury. So
I love he's like, it's showing the artifact and how the two line up together. But then there's one that's like, I haven't seen this one before, and it's just a circle. It's just a ring. It's like, I'm not familiar with this one. It's like,
what is this shape? Yeah.
It's unfortunate that the halo is just a ring, but do something that has a little more detail that shows like it's meaningful. Not just Master Chief as a child capable of drawing a circle.
Right. Well, and I thought it was going to be the ring and we get like a vision of it, right? Because we still haven't seen it in the show yet. Yeah. We still haven't seen Halo. But nope, it's a hole in the ground, which we find out later. And then obviously they don't find the artifact and they're like, what are we gonna do? And then he looks up and sees their house, right? He decides, Halsey's like, no, we need to go back to the ship, and he disobeys that order and heads up. Halsey, meanwhile, is scared. He's going to find out things about his past and why he's in the Spartan program, which comes at a later time. So we head back to Madrigal. A lot of jumping in this in this sequence. We meet up with Vinsher, which I've been mispronouncing his name the entirety of this review podcast. So it is
David Vinsher.
David Vinsher, yes, my favorite director. Yeah. And he is a Saturday morning cartoon character through and through. He's got Robotnik's little glasses. He's like, he is just this goofy, like Saturday morning, like, I'll get you, Spider-Man type of villain.
But he's also like really tight with the people, like nodding to the ladies, being like, hey, how's business?
Yeah,
he's a cool dude.
Yeah. They're in all black, which fitting, they are the villain. I was like, yes, subtlety here. Yeah, I don't know. Shay, do you have any thoughts on our new friend Vinsher?
Seems fine.
We saw his butt.
We see his butt.
Mark that checklist.
There's another butt. We should do butt bingo at this point.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, the card would almost already be full.
Right. We have four confirmed butts.
4 confirmed butts in
Chief,
4 episodes.
Kai,
right?
Vinsher, and then
the Covenant lady.
Yes, Covenant lady. Make. So yeah, they're just like, he's strutting, right? He's like, I feel like the music when Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3 is strutting around in the black should have been playing at that point. But I was waiting for him to do the little, the dance.
It was very similar to the jazz moment. Yeah.
So it kind of sets up he is in full control at this point, has UNSC support. Quan and Soren are finally on Madrigal, and they're looking for Quan's father's generals in the Tatooine of the Halo universe, and meets up with a friend who is obviously terrified. Vinsher has created an authoritarian state there, and he lets her know that to find like the supporters of the resistance, right? She needs to come to the memorial that they're having at the end of the or at like later that night. So I'm trying to think. I don't think anything else happens at this point. Right?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the entire episode. I was like, yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, that's about right. Because they parked the ship way out so they wouldn't get found, right? And that doesn't end up working for them. And Soren just keeps like, his only lines are like, where's my money? I need my money. And it's like, okay, we get it. You're gonna get your money eventually. Yeah.
He's like Moon Knight looking for Dracula.
Yeah. Except, not as interesting. Because the first Moon Knight show is actually not bad.
It's great.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very, very
good. Do you think our audience would notice if we just like switched over? Like, welcome to Halo episode 5 review. We're talking about Moon Knight this week.
Yeah, because they're into the venom at this point that we're spitting. Yeah.
I feel like this is a good like corner for people who are frustrated, right? Come express your frustrations. We're here for you. We feel them too.
Support group. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So moving on from that, we go back to Kai and Reach, who is having a similar moment to Chief, where she's feeling everything. She's like experiencing everything. She's oiling her sniper and notices the red grease or whatever, and she starts to put it in her hair. She starts to rebel, right, in only a way you can in a Disney Channel original movie. And she starts
if somebody changes their hairstyle, that is the ultimate like character development moment. Like, look at Max Payne. He shaved his head and it's suddenly like, wow, this guy means business.
Yeah, we didn't take him seriously for 2 games. Yeah. So Kai starts to change a little bit, but then they start to work with Miranda, who in Halsey's absence has full access to the artifact, and she's trying to figure out what it is before Halsey so they can cut her out of the picture. And we get more of the Spartans, which I thought was the best part of the episode, was them all working together. They start to play with the artifact. They try to see if the other Spartans have the same effects at it as John does. They do not. We also get like more humanizing and editorializing or from Kai about like the Spartans and their animals, right? She has this speech. I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but like she's talking about like, how they all had animals that they loved until Dalsey had to murder them and stuff like that. Like, bad look for the big H per usual here. But I like the Spartans.
All that stuff's okay.
Yeah, I like Silver Team. Yeah. I feel like they had such an opportunity, right, to like, okay, you're not going with Blue Team, Fred and Linda not in this, fine. Like, you have this opportunity with Silver Team to like create this group with Chief and Kai and the rest of them, right? That could have been like, if that were the focus, that would be amazing. Because right, Halo doesn't always necessarily need to be centered around these rings, but they shouldn't be centered around what's happening right now, right? Like, and we're just not getting that. But in the little tastes we get of like the 3 of them together, like I thought their banter was solid, right? Like there was this cadence to like, Kai was like the head of the jazz band, right? And they kept filling in her speech and stuff like that to Miranda. And Miranda, I think the actress has a much I liked her part in this much better than like episode 1. I thought she did a much better job because she kind of gets into her feelings about why she hates the Spartans or why Kai and the rest of the group perceive her to hate them. And I liked that. I thought that was down to earth, and I thought it was like, like if your mom's only focused on this thing as you're growing up, like you're gonna wonder why you're not that, or like start to resent it. Like I get that. I thought that was good. So, I don't know. Any thoughts there on the Spartans?
I liked the moment where it was like, hey, look at this Needler. And that was like a total moment where it was like, oh yeah, this is a Halo show.
Yeah, it's like this thing's like really unique, and don't worry, we'll never shoot it.
Woof! I was sweating there for a second. I thought it actually
did like
big pulse.
We don't want any violence here. Not in a Halo show, please.
I did
talk
like
about
that
the guns.
It was like, oh, it'll automatically like lock onto an enemy like living flesh, and it's like, yeah, well, whatever, fire it and forget it. Who cares?
Right.
But don't.
I mean, seriously, that line of dialogue, like that moment, like just kind of upset me a little bit. It was like, you are just taunting me now. Like, you gave me action in episode 1,
and that's it. We haven't seen anything else.
And I'm like, now, like, not only is Master Chief putting, when he puts his helmet on, now we have a camera inside his helmet to see his face.
Yeah, it's Iron Man now.
You're just messing with me now.
Right. Well, and that's the hard part about this. Like the Needler looked great. The Dead Elite on the surgical table looked great. I was like, oh, these are cool. They had like the vial of hunter worms and stuff like that. And I was like, there's some cool stuff in here that I want to see in action. Like I want to see it actually like happening. But
and you think it would be awesome because the budget is through the roof. The cityscapes look great. The CG looks great. All the alien stuff is fantastic. The bike helmet that is born is terrible. I don't know what that was.
Bro,
It's
he
like
looked like
me knitting for the first time and being like, "Here you go."
it reminded me of Solaire's helmet from Dark Souls, the Praise the Sun guy. That's what the
Yeah.
helmet that
If
reminded
someone
me of.
knitted it poorly, yeah.
Exactly.
But most of that stuff's great, right? Like all the visualization of the Halo stuff and just doing cool sci-fi stuff, it works.
Right. It just doesn't feel like Halo still. But so Keys basically they in the Needler scene they talk about what they say in saying in wow, I can't talk, in the Elite's language, right? And Miranda, in a weird turn, that I had a weird she's like, oh, what did you say? And then she like plays it back, and then she uses a computer to decipher it, and so they're starting to learn the Sangheili language, and I was like, you are the Spartans have been around for decades. You were the first person ever to think like I should tap these people for their knowledge on alien languages that they're around 24/7. I was like, this is the first time ever. Yeah, the UNSC deserves to lose this war. Like, come on. Yeah.
You blew it.
Yeah.
There's no common sense here.
Right. I was like, we've been in this for a while. Like, and I know it did in Halo lore, right? It does take the UNSC a while to learn the language, right? You know, in Reach, the game, you can't understand the Covenant, right? Versus like, you know, as you go on in the series, you start to understand them, and because they create translators, right? That they wear. So like that's coming. We'll get to hear the grunts say, "Ah, it's the demon," you know, that kind of stuff. It's gonna be great. Can't wait. So moving on from that, we go back to Madrigal. Kwan goes to the memorial where there's like 16 people. She's upset by this. She meets one of her father's main generals, and she tells her that everyone else is either dead or paid off, including her. She didn't like that. She's not happy about that. From there, you know, they, in classic dictatorship fashion, right? The Halo Nazis, I don't know what you want to call them, the people in black come up and break things up, and she runs away. I think at this point I can't remember the order, right? We flash back to Vinsher, or not flashback, excuse me. We cut to Vinsher naked in the tub, smoking a cigar in like the weird. I don't think that man's ever held a cigar in his life. He was like a cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon where it's like up here, and he's like, "Get me the Batman," or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
That's what he said. That was the exact line.
Yeah, it's like, no, this Paramount Plus. This is an HBO. And he's just, he's just a goof, but an intimidating one. I don't know. I like the actor still.
They're showing wealth and power, trying to establish that again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I hope people around the world, no matter how rich or poor they are, can have a cigar in a bathtub and enjoy themselves. That's my hope. That's what I will provide you as president if you want it.
It's a life moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sea change moment.
Yeah, exactly. Vinsher hires a hitman basically to take out Kwan because he now knows that Kwan and Soren are here. Yeah. It's like, you know, I like it. It's like
there.
Sending out the body or the bounty hunter, right? Let's see. We haven't gotten to so we covered Keys and Kai again. I'm trying to think. We go back to John and Halsey. They're in John's house, right? They're trying to find some sign of where this thing is, right? And this is where John kind of fully breaks into his own mind and like has a full memory. With the assistance of Cortana, like stylizing the room, right? Projecting the room as it was because it's dilapidated at this point. And he starts to remember the moments of his childhood that Halsey would want him to forget, while also remembering where the circle drawing is taking them, right? A hole in the ground. I don't know. I'm starting to run out of energy to critique, but
it's very draining. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And in the first time in history, we see Master Chief kind of smile. because he puts the helmet on and like it's the Doom vision, right, where he's like seeing everything. I don't know, Shay, what did you think about this sequence?
It was okay. I mean, it was again, I could do without having the camera inside of his helmet. Like, just let us have him having his helmet on. Like, I know it's like a cliche critique at this point, probably, but like, we finally got his helmet on. It's like, all right, cool. He's walking around. He's looking at stuff with his helmet on. Just give us these moments. And like, that's the thing about like this character is fans know him so well with his helmet on that you can almost see the emotion through the helmet, which they actually had a little bit of that just based on like the framing of the shot, based on the way the light was kind of peeking around the corner of his helmet. You could see like, oh, he's being kind of like contemplative. He's thinking on some stuff. And then they did like, oh, well, they won't understand that. We got to show like his face inside the helmet.
Right.
And I don't know, man. Like it's all fine. Whatever. Like
Yeah.
I don't care enough to like get upset about it anymore.
You've been drained of your mortal soul.
But like
Halo,
the thing that I'm thinking about is like, where is this leading? Because like ultimately it's going to lead to the ring. It's going to lead to Halo. And it's are we going to like get the opening scene where like the Covenant's going to invade one of their ships and that they're heading to and then the Chief is going to crash land, and then like suddenly he's got to get to the Halo before the Covenant does? Or
right,
like, are we going to get like the recreation of like that first scene in the game, or like is that going to be the final scene of this season? Is like they're on the ring or something like that, and it's like, all right, well, oh well.
That would require the team making the show to play the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's a lot to ask at this point.
I keep giving them the benefit of the doubt, but
and I think I follow Gene Park on Twitter, and he's pointed out a couple of times that quote has gotten taken out of context. They definitely played the games. I think the point of the quote was they're trying to pull from the universe at large, right? But it honestly, like, I feel like week after week they keep proving the misquoted quote right, where it's just like this just doesn't feel like I'm a broken record, but it's true. Like it just doesn't feel like Halo. This would be a fine sci-fi original series, well, right?
That makes me feel a lot better if they played the games and they're gonna do some stuff from the games, because right now they're just going their own direction. It's like an alternate universe, and they're just kind of telling their own story.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've talked about this for a month now, but like, what is Halo to you guys? To me, it's like, it is stakes. It is from the very get-go, you understand that there is a huge threat, right? From the second you get on that Halo, or in Halo 1, when you step into Chief's shoes, right? There are these oppressive, scary enemies in your way, and you understand they mean business right away. And it just doesn't feel like there's any stakes here. It's just melodrama.
They started there. And I was very impressed. I was like, they're doing something different, but it's got that Halo intensity. These guys are scary. The Spartans can take care of them, but everybody else is in a lot of trouble. These things are across the universe. Yeah. You know, we got to fight now. And now they've just stopped. They're just exploring backstories and, you know, moving chess pieces across the board very slowly. And in uneventful ways, like in ways to just avoid all conflict. It's just kind of like the storm cloud's there, but it's like, what is it doing? It's not moving.
Yeah, they had momentum from that first episode of like, oh, the Covenant are actually pretty scary. They're pretty overpowered. And then like we've had one scene since then that shows that like, oh yeah, they're still powerful. And that was when like the Maki like tricked that ship into like thinking that she was a distress signal, and when in fact she was like accompanied by like what did you call it? Like, it was a hunter, but it was just
like deconstructed.
Yeah, deconstructed.
We've had more exploration of the dumb book that she's reading than these being opponents, right? Like there being a conflict. It's more about the little things, and this whole artifact. They are playing this up way too much. It's just gone on way too long. I don't know how many times he needs to touch it and have a memory, or, you know, how many drawings we need to look at. You know, thankfully they found the piece now. Right. But now are we going to have another episode of them bringing the piece over, and then another episode of combining it, and then another, like, are we going to have the Halo at the very end of the episode, like of the season?
That's what I was thinking.
As a tease, like in the distance, you see it, and then.
Ugh. God, I can't even.
We've
because that
had
just-
more Halo in Book of Boba Fett than we have in the Halo series.
Yeah. Oh, Reiner, I hate your predictions because they always make me sad.
I was thinking like ahead of time, like before this episode, I was like, all right, it's going to end on one of two ways. It's going to either be like they see the Halo and like that's where it cuts, or like mid-season we're going to get to the Halo and then the final tease will be like the flood or something. And
Next episode's mid-season, right? Or are we already mid-season?
So this is episode 4. I guess halfway through next week we'll be halfway through. So we're kind of at halfway at this point.
Yeah, we're almost to the halfway point. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's
maybe
either
we'll
going to
have
be
Wayfinder moment next episode, maybe. We'll see.
maybe. Who knows?
Because that's how they're going to reunite. They'll reunite Chief with Silver Team, right? Because they've been working with the artifact. They'll probably be tasked to bring it there, right? And then you have to imagine the Covenant will show up on Chief's home world, right? Like,
I mean, if that happens, if they show up now while they're there,
mhm.
the Halo's at the end of the series, at the end of the season, because they'll have conflict. Like, we need to get them back to get the artifact now, or have the artifact sent to them now.
Right. Yeah.
there's steps that need to be taken before we can get to the Halo.
Because the artifact is going to either open a portal or be a map key to Halo, right? And that's what kind of Kai.
That's got to be it.
Yeah. Because like at the end of the episode, Kai and Keyes are going over the famous sister scene, as Reiner alluded to. They're going over some of the elite dialogue that they're learning from, right? And then they take an image from the video of Chief touching the artifact, and she's like, "Oh, a ring! It's a halo!" And it's like, okay, so we're building this up at this point. Like that's what it has to be. Even though, like, if I had no knowledge of Halo, I'd just be like, that's just a circle. In the design
I think that would be
the
I think ring and circle are where you're 90. If you're playing Family Feud, you're not going to get Halo on that board,
right? Yeah,
you get coffee stain before Halo.
Yeah, 100%. So, but Miranda and Kai bond over the fact that they are, the products of Halsey, whether or not they wanted to be or not. They've suffered from her. I'm trying to think if they did anything else interesting in that scene.
Not really.
No, they
Not
just
really.
they just keep building the Halo. Meanwhile, John has had the memory, right? He now knows where to find the hole in the ground, but he also has the memory of, because at this point he thought he was just an orphan, right? He didn't know what happened to his parents. He's starting to have memories of his parents. But then he has a memory of Halsey being in the house with his parents alive. And he starts to put 2 and 2 together, right? She is not the caretaker she tried to make herself seem to Chief. And you can see that relationship start to splinter a little bit.
Yeah, she tried to cover her tracks. I thought that was written pretty well, where she's like, our memories, the past and present are blending. It's not uncommon for that to happen. So I like that. I thought that was a effective scene.
Well, and it underlines her really well too, because the point of Halsey is like she's willing to do anything no matter what the risks is, and she's fully aware that John is going to. There could be the potential for John to start to resent her and not listen to her, right? Because of those memories that that he is having, but it also means stepping closer to whatever this mysterious ring-like object in the sky will be, because she knows there's a greater threat out there. So outside of that, we have the only action we've seen in quite some time. We go back to Madrigal. Kwan goes to visit her auntie after she was spurned by her father's former general, to try to get some family funds, get some shmoney, and get the resistance going back again. Her aunt, I was confused by this, so I need your guys' help. So
don't look at me.
She goes to talk to her aunt, and she says the money's gone, but her dad was living a lie, and he had talked to some mystics, but that was it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I was like,
I completely forgot about this scene, if I'm being completely honest.
And it's like, where's the lie? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, are they setting it up to be like he is like was working for the Covenant, maybe? Like, do they have more
There's-
cells like than just Make?
I think there's something we don't know yet. Like, I don't think it's going to be Covenant, but I think there's a reveal that'll be coming. That's forthcoming.
Do you think like because the other alien type people outside of the UNSC are, we haven't seen anything from the Forerunners, even though we can presume the artifact is Forerunner tech. Haven't seen anything from the Flood, right, or Gravemind. And I'm not even going to mention the P word that Shay brought up last week. I can't do it if we skip to Prometheans. But I guess I was confused. Like the aunt made it seem like it was this big thing, right? But all she said it was these mystics, and she didn't explain like why he was living a lie. Because she was like, he never told me what they told me, and it's like, okay, wait, then so why is this? Where is the
there's something we don't
here?
There's some big revelation that's coming. I don't think it's Covenant. I think it's probably tied in with some bigger thing that maybe Master Chief will have interest in. I don't know.
We're going to start getting to the season climax right around the release of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So don't be surprised if that's the mystic that they were talking about.
Yeah, can you imagine? They tied in. Paramount's trying to do their own shared universe, and it's like Picard or like SpongeBob, something like that.
I would love for them to just tie in Picard. Why not at this point?
Sure, at this point, yeah. Also, Shay, I 100% thought you were going to be like, yeah, at the end of this, Doctor Strange is coming out. Do you guys just want to see that instead and talk about that instead?
I'm in this till the end. Like I am.
Yeah, I mean, we're
every Halo episode.
Right. Oh yeah, we're halfway through. We got to keep going. We'll get some guests here with us too eventually. But
Alex,
yes,
you were probably. I mean, I love Halo. Reiner loves Halo. You're probably the biggest Halo fan of this group here,
for sure.
How would you rank the episodes so far? I have my ranking in my mind, but we have 4 episodes in. How would you rank them?
1, 3, 4, 2. With
okay, I'm close to that.
I don't know. Do y'all feel similarly?
I'm 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Like
I'm
like coming off a high of like, hey, that was pretty good. There's a lot of Halo cool stuff. A little worried about some of it, and then just
no. Yeah.
See, for me, it was 1 was the best by far.
Yeah.
Then I think 2 was the worst by far.
Yeah.
And then I would say 3 and 4 are probably interchangeable, but 3 I probably liked a little bit more than 4.
Yeah.
So where it's probably 1, 3, 4, 2 for me.
1, 3, 4, 2. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But 2 is absolutely my least favorite, and 1 is absolutely my favorite.
Right. Yeah. I think that is not to be debated at this point. So
yeah, and I only liked 1, just to be, like one episode, the first one.
Yeah. And I guess I feel like I am the person who makes excuses for my crappy friend, but it's like, to me, they still haven't bungled what I hope the payoff is, right? Like the payoff is the Halo. It is having those moments. It is upping the stakes.
It could redeem itself. Definitely. There's enough good stuff here in terms of the production values and the visualization of it all. And some of the actors I think are really well cast, but they just need to get there, and I'm worried that they're not gonna, because there's a lot of threads that don't make a lot of sense to me. Maki, that kind of stuff. I'm like, that's all got to be central to this, and I don't know where they're gonna go with it.
Yeah, I really think I'm holding on to if we had gotten to Cortana in Chief and it was a total dud, then I'd be like, all right, I'm really done on this. But like, I still like every scene that they've had together is at least interesting, if not entertaining. So it's like I'm praying that they understood that and saw the connection there. And
I think that the main reason for that is that nobody understands that relationship better than Jen Taylor. She's been doing it since the very start, and in most Cortana Chief scenes, she's going to carry the conversation because she's much chattier than Chief will ever be. At least I hope she's going to be much more chatty than Chief will ever be. Who knows with this series?
Right.
Chief could end up being like the most talkative person in the galaxy for all we know. But and I think that that's why those scenes land so well, is because Cortana, as voiced by Jen Taylor, will always feel authentic.
Right. Yeah. I think you're hitting the nail on the head there. Last couple of scenes, and then we'll say goodbye. whilst Quan is learning about maybe her family legacy is not as pure as she thinks, the assassin comes in, kills Quan's aunt, attempts to kill Quan. Soren comes in to save the day. All the while, I guess we forgot to say that his ship got taken, even though that he parked it like 2 miles outside the city. Doesn't matter. They still found it.
It's binoculars distance.
Yeah, apparently it's like, wait, you thought you were hiding this, like this giant hulking mass in a desert where it's clear.
2 blocks away.
It was like that scene in Team America where they thought they were being stealthy, but they're just like standing outside the window, and they just looked outside the window while like chilling there.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the assassin takes out the guards, takes out the aunt, almost takes out Quan, but Soren comes with his GoldenEye revolver, the one-shot kill, or it doesn't kill her, but she escapes wounded, and then it sets up the monologue, tying everyone together, right, with Keyes talking about Halsey, and Halsey has that really disturbed look on her face when Chief is driving to find the artifact. They do in fact find the artifact, and she gives him a look of like, well, it was worth it type of thing, and we cut to black. So
but the dialogue is she doesn't like when things go wrong,
right, and
he's going wrong.
Yes. And she thinks being human is wrong. They keep playing up that Halsey's a monster. They are correct. And I'm curious to see what they do with that. And we kind of set the table for next week with,
do we?
Hopefully, I mean, like, Covenant have to show up eventually. They spent $10 million an episode on this show, right? Like, we gotta see.
This could be the episode where Chief touches this other artifact. And that's it.
The whole thing
that's
is him
it.
just like, starts having more flashbacks.
The rest of the episode is just him in his own head.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
but honestly, I keep saying this every single week. Like, I still have hope that this series will turn around. I'm not enjoying it anymore, but like, we still have more than half a season remaining. I really hope that things are kind of like going to get fast tracked towards like interesting things at this point. But it's not an earned optimism, mind you. It's totally just me as a Halo fan being like, come on, like, you can do this. You can turn this around.
Right. Yeah.
You know what's going to happen next week? There's going to be a flashback. I'm going to call it that it's going to be Chief feeding his dog.
Okay.
That's going to be the flashback, and it's just going to be like this. Look, there's kindness in his heart.
Okay. Yeah. Feeding your animal. Yeah.
And it's just going to be this overly long sequence, and then we're going to get to Chief standing in front of that obelisk thing.
But isn't Halsey going to make him kill the dog?
Oh,
well,
wait. Is that what they're building
that'll
up
be
to?
later. Yeah, that'll be later in the episode. It'll when he touches the artifact, he'll see that she had him kill the dog. He's going to connect those dots.
That's where we're going with this, right?
He
saw the dog when his like emotions inhibitor was removed, and he was like
running away. Yeah.
And then he had this flashback in this episode where it was like totally focused on the dog. And then we had this story of the other Spartans talking about how Halsey made them kill their dogs.
Holy crap. Yeah. Oh,
that's where we're going with this.
He's going to see it.
That's going to be not the fact that this woman stole him from his parents. It's going to be that the dog thing does it. Okay. Yeah.
And it's going to get him so angry. He's going to kind of raise his arms against, like go after her, like, verbally or whatever. And
we're going to get a wall punch like close to her head, but not close enough.
Yeah.
Are we going to get Kai and Chief against the rest of Silver Team?
Oh, at least that would produce some like decent
2v2.
I feel like, yeah,
they're going to protect
2v2
Halsey.
Guardians. Like, let's go.
Or is Kai going to be on Halsey's team?
Oh, we don't know.
And then she's going to have some kind of device that'll knock Chief out.
It's just Cortana.
And then her scientist buddy's going to try to kiss him.
Yeah, he doesn't care if you're laying.
Creeper.
Yeah.
But just on the nose, just on the tip of the nose,
just a little. Oh man, you'd see me lose.
We got to figure it out.
Yeah. All right.
Episode
5. Here we come. This has been episode 4 of the Halo review series. Like I said, fun way to end our weeks. Hope you're enjoying them as well. Be sure to let us know. Give us feedback. Right, we're a month into this and we're having fun, but let us know what we could be doing better. Your subscriptions and your reviews help a ton. If you want to go over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, honest is the best. 5 stars is great, but if you're liking the show, if you think we can do stuff better, that's great too. Gentlemen, thank you for spending your Fridays with me. I hope you're having fun with our conversations as well. And we'll see you for episode 5 next week. So exciting stuff. So be good to one another. We'll see you next time. Bye now. Bye now. I don't know what I was trying to say. Bye.